introduction to and myself Kavita. And before starting this first session of this FDP, I'm very happy to congratulate the Kavita Engineering College and the entire organizing team for organizing this webinar series, particularly on the apt topic of the hour. Let me start my session. So the first session that I'm handling is based on the power system optimization. So uh, so my topic is application of multi-objective evolutionary algorithms in power systems. So before dealing that particular power system applications, let me give a short summary on what is the optimization and why we need that one and what is the going on strategy in the solving some optimization problems. And the contents of presentation includes the single objective algorithms for solving the optimization problem and the multi-objective optimization problems overview and the solution for those problems and the applications in power system. And if you see optimization, everywhere is optimization. Suppose we want to take a decision. For example, let us take a very simple thing. We are getting ready for a function and we want to choose a dress for wearing. So it can be framed as a decision-making problem, which is an optimization problem. So how it is optimization? So I want an objective. I have an objective. So my objective is I want to maximize the beauty of my appearance or something else. So that is the objective. But I am having too many constraints. The constraints may be my friends may have discussed not to wear a particular dress, wear only saris or wear only this color. So these things will be a constraint for me to select a proper dress for a function. So anything, any decision making problem is an optimization problem, which is going to have a broad objective. The objective may be minimizing or maximizing something. It may be a performance, it may be time, it may be minimizing cost, anything. So there will be a main objective. To meet that objective, we may have many constraints. So if the structure is like this, then any problem is a optimization problem. So we can take it as a simple. Within the available resources, we want the best solution for any task. So it is an optimization problem. So the constraints that we make for an optimization problem may be equality constraint, may be inequality constraint, or it may be a geometry constraint. So let us see what are they. So any practical problem can be modeled as a mathematical expression and it becomes an optimization problem. Uh, if you see the graph, this graph has many peaks and many valleys. So all the real world problems should be like this. So, for example, if you had a chance of already studied a subject or course called operation research, you maybe studied many decision making and in programming things and so optimization problem solving. So here I have drawn a simple graph which has a x-axis of decision variable and y-axis of the objective function. So if you see, if my decision variable increases, so what is the decision variable? If I change that parameter, my objective is going to change. So if I change the x, my objective is going to change. At one point of x, my objective reached the peak. So this style of problem is called a unimodal function, and these problems can be effectively solved using many analytical approaches, right? So mostly in the researches that taken place in early 90s and 80s, all these power system problems were approximated and as a this unimodal function, and they suggested many solutions to obtain this peak value if it is a maximum problem, and they focus on to find the valley point if it is a minimization problem. So what is the thing here is, if you assume mostly and become a simple optimization problem, we'll be going to have only one solution. And that solution can be analytically found using differentiating the function, because at the peak point or a valley point, the differentiation of the function becomes zero. So the mathematics behind the optimization is very much interesting, and you can go through if you are really interested in so many books such as engineering optimization by SS Straub, etc. But the graphs shown in this slide have too many peaks and too many valleys. So this is the real situation of any real time problem. In power system or any other area, we have real world problems consist of many maximum and many minimum points. So if we are working with the analytical method start with the initial point. Suppose I am starting an initial solution here means based on the analytical method, this solution will be moved across this particular peak graph and it reaches this peak. When it reaches the peak, the technique will announce this as a solution and stop. So this is the major drawback of analytical solution applicable to any optimization problem. Here, in the old scenario, if we see, this is a global solution and this is the solution we want to reach. But in the using analytical methods, if you start here, the method will stop with the solution of local maximum. So what they are going is, they are going for many algorithms to find out this global maximum. So without tracking on local maximum or local peak, we want a global maximum means we should have different types of algorithms and the soft computing technology grows. And all the AI machine learning methods that we are using in the power system area nowadays also uses a background optimization algorithms for any optimization involved in the machine learning algorithms. So to obtain this one, what they will be doing, they are going for many heuristic approaches, which is will be having many initial solutions. So we'll be having more than one initial solutions in the various solution space, and from that space, the each initial solutions will try to move along the peak. So at one point of time, after many iterations, all the initial solutions will move to this peak. So if every optimization algorithm is a iterative work, and after few iterations, it will reach the global maximum. If the algorithm is not able to reach the global maximum, then the algorithm need to be tuned. So this is the basic of any optimization algorithms. So here I have shown a simple expression which denotes an optimization problem. So any optimization problem is going to have an objective function. So objective function should be mentioned by a term we want to minimize or maximize. So if it is I want to concentrate on cost, then I need to minimize the cost. If I want to improve the performance, then my objective becomes maximizing the performance. So according to the need, we need to fix minimization problem or maximization problem. And we are going to have many constraints. So here I have mentioned two constraints, and these two constraints are inequality constraints, because here we have mentioned it should be greater than or equal to some numbers. So if you mention like this, it is an inequality constraint. If you are having a simple economic dispatch problem, and if you are just concentrating on this simple problem, by you want to equate the generation to the load, then we will be including a equality constraint, so that the sum of all the generation will be equal to the load. So that kind of constraint is the equality constraint. And we are also having boundary conditions where the decision variable should lie within the range. So here, if you change the decision variable, the constraint may satisfy, the constraint may not satisfy. So we have to generate some values of x1 and x2, which should satisfy these two constraints. And at the same time, that x1 and x2 values should be you should make this objective function very minimum. So for different values of x1, x2, we'll be going to have different values for constraints and different values of objective function. So from many different values, we need to choose a value for x1 and x2, which overall minimize this function. So this is the aim of solving an objective function. We need to determine the decision variable so that the objective is highly minimized. So to solve these type of problems, we are having many analytical approaches, which in use of time lead to failure due to the local peak problem. And so there's a lot of growth in algorithms. So initially, if you had a chance of study of elective courses in soft computing, you might have definitely studied about genetic algorithms and positive particle swarm optimization. So these are the very beginning algorithms that have been used in most of the engineering problems. Particularly, there are more and more research papers available. Even now, research papers are coming out with these algorithms. So to understand how any optimization algorithm gets converged, let us see this first graph. In the first graph, I am having two constraints. So one is a linear constraint and another one is a non-linear constraint. And this is my solution space. So within this solution space, I want a particular solution which minimizes or maximizes my objective. So all the algorithms, how it will work is, initially, it will assume any values of x1 and x2. So it will take any decision variable and it will be across the entire solution space. So when it tested across the constraints, the solutions which we have taken, which does not uh, comes satisfies the constraint, will go out, and the solution which satisfies the constraints will only available in the sequence of iteration. So after some iteration, all the solutions will move towards a particular solution which will minimize a particular objective function. So here at the end of some generation or iteration, particularly here this graph is taken after the 100th iteration, where all the solutions will show the same point, the same solution. So the population size or initial size may be anything. I can take here, if you see, I have taken for some 12 initial population. So initially it is on different search locations, but at the final place, all the solution will be going to give a single solution. So it is a single objective problem. And mostly the popular optimization algorithms are genetic algorithm. It's the first algorithm, and there is many growth in the beginning binary algorithm, and there's many changes in the factors like selection, crossover, mutation, and there are many research papers available. So in genetic algorithm, what we are trying to do with this evolutionary algorithm is, we are trying to use the biological scenario to solve the engineering problems. So genetic, two parents have a crossover and a child is produced. This is basic genetics, and we are using this principle behind the genetics to solve the engineering problem. So this particular genetics is framed as algorithm, and what are the steps here? So we need to select a best parent. So that what is our assumption is, the best parent will be going to have a best gene. So when they cross over, a child produced from them will be going to have a good gene. But whatever we are saying may not be true. Sometimes the child may not be good as parent. So everything should be involved while we are working on the algorithms. So based on this genetics, they followed certain steps. They are selecting the best parents, and the parents are getting crossover, and mutation are done for the small changes in the gene of a child, so that to avoid duplicate childs. The child is tested for the objective. This child may be better than parent or may not be better than parent. But overall, the parents and childs, after doing the evolution part, the next iteration procedures. So initialization is first, we have to initialize some number of population. Suppose I am taking a bigger problem of power system, so I am going to use 50 different initial solutions. So my population size is 50. For each solution, I am going to evaluate my objective function. So now I am going to have 50 answers. So for each 50 answers, which solution is having a good answer will be treated as a good parent. Which has a very worst solution for objective function may be treated as a bad parent. So we are having many selection approaches in GA to select the parent for the matting pool. In the matting pool, crossover taken place and new child is produced. So mutation is done to avoid the duplication of child, and each child is evaluated, and overall now we'll be having some 50 parent and 50 child, altogether 100 different solution for our problems in our hands. From that we'll be taking a 50 solutions and moving for further iterations And at the end of some particular iterations, if the problem goes tough, you need to go beyond 200, 300 or 1000 iterations too. So those who have already worked in optimization may be very clear about it, and whoever is new can have a confusion how this particular theory, whatever we are talking about genetics, can be fitted into a engineering algorithms. So easily you can just think whatever theory we are speaking is mathematically modeled. So we are having suitable equations to be applied on our solution so that we can move to the next iterations. So similarly, if you see the particle swarm optimization, so it's a very interesting another algorithm grown in the period, and it has many generations in the PSO1, PSO2, and considering GBEST, PBEST. So here, if you see in particle swarm optimization, it involves the biology of birds searching for a food. So they adopt a suitable pattern. So each bird will be have its best position called as P best. And if the birds, totally 50 birds are there, in the 50 birds, one bird will be a global solution, its position. So based on the individual position and the global bird's good position, the velocity of each bird is updated and they continuously move along to find out the food. So this theory is modified as an expression as shown here. So first the velocity of each bird is varied according to this equation and the position of each bird is updated by this equation. So whenever we are going to use algorithms, there will be a better expression available for that algorithm, and we can have our own innovations in modifying these particular basic modeling of any algorithms, right? As the time is short now, I'm not going to deal with this single objective problems. Let me skip another other algorithms, and if you have any clarifications and if you want to discuss with me in future, you can contact me by my email id, and I'll be giving you the solutions. So let me stop the discussion about single objective algorithm here. And before moving into the multi-objective algorithm, uh, I want mine to be fresh. So you just try to read this particular slide. In the same time, I request the organizer to host the poll. Madam, can you host the poll question now? Madam, Padma Priya, madam, is it possible for you to post the poll?
We have posted, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, madam. I have seen. And as most of your faculty members, this polling method is very much useful in online classes to understand whether our students are just listening or just online and they are doing some other jobs.
Okay. So around 58 percentage, they have given polling us no idea about multi-objective optimization. So better you can start from basics, ma'am.
Okay, it's nice to get
Okay.
the results of this poll, madam. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, so for a beginners of multi-objective optimization problems, here I am assuming that you know some of the basics of single objective. If you don't know, I just give this thing. The famous power system problem that uses optimization is economic dispatch problem. So everyone know the economic dispatch problem, where we need to generate the amount needed by the load. So it is an economic dispatch problem. If you do that particular problem by having only one objective, minimizing the cost. So economic dispatch means only minimizing the cost. So minimizing the cost, we'll be having some expression. In the constraint, we'll be having some constraint that amount generated will be equal to amount uh, dispatched to the load plus losses. And we'll be having some boundary conditions for generators, because generators can generate only up to certain amount. Beyond that, we cannot ask the generator to generate. So we'll be having some boundary conditions. So this style of problem is a single objective problem. And if I want to work on one more objective added to this economic dispatch, that is emission dispatch. So I want to minimize the emissions made by the power station along with the economic dispatch. So now the problem becomes a multi-objective problem. So multi-objective problem is very simple to understand, where we are having more than two objectives. Particularly, those two objectives are conflictory objectives. So that word is very important, conflict. Conflict means what's the meaning? If you want to improve one objective, automatically other objective will goes down. That is, one will improve, one will not improve. If you want to improve one thing, other will go down. If you want to improve this thing, this will go down. So these are conflictory objectives, and dealing with conflictory objectives is not so easy. So that this multi-objective algorithms developed. So some examples for this multi-objective optimization problems is shown in the screen. So if you want to purchase the car, if you want to minimize the cost and maximize the comfort, definitely they are conflicting. If you minimize the cost, obviously your comfort also get minimized. So if you want to maximize the comfort, cost will also maximize. So they two are conflict. Similarly, in all the area, we will be having too many multi-objective problems. So multi-objective optimization problems are very, very common in all these fields. So when considered in our power system, even in cyber security, the covering area, if you want to maximize the covering area, you need to minimize the rate of data. And if you want to dispatch problem, then economic emission dispatch is another multi-objective problem. So if you are in working the recent topics like distributed generations, there are many objectives, they are conflict to each other. So multi-objective optimization algorithms will give you how you can tackle those multi-objective solution. So here I have shown the graph where x1, x2, x3 are decision variables. So for your understanding, you just thought about the economic dispatch problem. So that I'm having three generators, and these three generators, we are going to generate some value equal to load. And if I take three values for generator, and if I substitute in the objective function cost, then it will generate a solution. So this particular graphical data can be moved to a objective space. So this is a decision space, this is the objective space. Decision space consists of decision variables. That is how much amount of generation will be taken by the three generators. So here I have considered only three generators. When you shift to objective space, based on this three generators value, the cost of the value is this one. So if I take x some other value, so x1, x2, x3 are different from here. If I change here, it goes to some other location in the objective space. So it's just a value transfer. So whenever we are focusing on single objective problem, as I have already discussed, the entire population will result in a single solution. So if you start a problem with 50 initial solution, all the solution move towards the same place. And after 100 or 200 iterations, all the 50 population will show the same answer. But it will not be in case of multi-objective. And why is this? Suppose if you consider some problem. Suppose I am having cost in economic dispatch problem. Suppose I am considering minimizing cost and minimizing the emission. So C is cost, E is emission. So for some particular value of generation, I am calculating the cost. I am minimizing the cost. So my cost is minimized. So this is the minimized value I am getting for the cost. Now I am considering only one solution. after computing the solution, if I calculate the emission value, it will show some value. So for this solution of cost, the emission value will be here. That is, the emission value will be very higher. If you do the same problem without considering cost and you do only emission dispatch, you will be getting very minimum emission dispatch. At this emission solution, if you calculate the cost will be very much more. So what is the thing is here is, for each importance given to the objective function, if cost is given a primary importance, then you get a solution here without considering emission. If emission is given a primary importance, you are getting a solution here. At that time, the solution, the overall cost and emission solution is here and for here. And what is the thing here? So there will be so many solutions available between these 2 points. This solutions will contribute a thing called Pareto front. So what is a Pareto front means? If you take a min-min problem, so I am having 2 objectives. Both the objectives are minimum. So minimize cost, minimize emission. Both are minimum. If I try to minimize the cost and I am not concentrating on emission, I will be getting this point as a solution. If I want to minimize the emission and I don't care about the cost, I will be got this as a solution. So if I give small priority to emission and many priority to cost, I may get some intermediate solution in between. So how to find all these solutions? So that's the question. So if you do a single objective problem, you can obtain only one point at a time as an answer. I want each and every point between these two. For that, we need to go for a multi-objective. So if the 2 objectives are min-min, you will be getting a Pareto front like this. If the problem, one objective is minimum objective and another objective is maximum objective, you will be going to get a front in this direction. If one objective is maximum, one objective is minimum, you will be going to get a front like this. Both are maximum, then you will be going to get a front like this. So based on the solution space, you will be going to get a front based on the objective function values. So how to deal with this multi-objective optimization problems? So there are 3 main approaches. The first one is preemptive optimization, second one is composite, and third one is multi-objective, purely multi-objective. So now the researchers are working only based on purely multi-objective. But to understand the concept of purely multi-objective, we should know some ideas about this preemptive optimization and composite objective function optimization to understand how the single objective approaches move to the multi-objective approaches. So in the preemptive optimization step, you can easily understand, if I am having 50 populations to solve a problem. So I am going to have some 50 populations. So that is 50 different solutions for X. So X1 will be from 1 to 50 solutions. So for each solution in single objective, they will be going on crossover and everything, and at the course of time, everything will be equal. In preemptive optimization steps, what they will be doing is, they will start with the only one objective function. If in economic dispatch problem, cost is my best thing to be considered, I'll be doing a problem only with cost and solve the problem, so that all the solution converges to the single solution. Then what I do is, I will consider this particular solution and I will insert a new constraint. So new constraint based on cost. If I get a solution that cost is equal to some 1 lakh rupees for some simple power system, if I calculate the cost as rupees 1 lakh, then I'll be including a constraint that before proceeding with the next objective, cost should be less than this 1 lakh. So the algorithm will try to find a solution for emission, best solution for the next objective function solution with the already find out cost as a constraint. So the simple thing is, start with one objective function and find the solution and incorporate that solution as a constraint, and again start a new problem with the second objective function. So if you are having too many objective functions, you will be repeating this until the last objective function is inserted. And this is a very tedious process. So this is the first beginning of a multi-objective, how to deal with the multi-objective. And now no research is based on this type of preemptive objectives. Then the preference based multi-objective problem. So it is a common thing. Even some many researchers are working on this particular method. It's a very, very simple task. So I am having two objective functions here. One is cost, one is emission. So I am very environment friendly. So I treat emission as a very great thing. If it is so, what I will do is I will give a maximum weightage to emission objective, and I will give a minimum weightage to a cost objective. So if I am a business person, I will concentrate on cost, and I will give more weightage to the cost objective, and I will give you less weightage to economic this emission objective. So here what we will be doing in preference based model is we will be giving a weightage for each objective function, and we model a single objective problem. So all the objectives will be linked in the same equation and formed as a single equation, and it will be treated as a single objective problem. So before going into the hope, if anybody is not able to read Tamil, please. Uh, so here I have inserted this slide to give the importance of perspectives. So some engineers will feel cost will be important thing. Some may be thinking that emission should be taken care. So the problem is same, but the perspective of different people will be different. So to show that only I have shown this slide. I think that no explanation is required for this particular slide. So to solve such a problem, they started with the vector evaluated genetic algorithm, and which what they will be doing is, if I am having 5 different objectives and I am having 50 populations, what I will be doing is I will dedicate 10 population in each iteration to one objective function. So you form a group and you work for the first objective. You form a group and work for the second objective. So each group will work as a single objective problem, and after the solution, I'll be taking all these groups, and based on the non-dominant of the solution, I will select one among the solutions. So this is the first developed multi-objective algorithm, which is called as VEGA, Vector Evaluated Genetic Algorithms. So this algorithm is developed in the early 90s, and many researchers are using this algorithm in 2000s, and many research papers are available with this algorithm, and it is pretty easy to follow. The same genetic algorithm, if you know, you can apply that particular thing as an extended one as a vector evaluated genetic algorithm. We'll be splitting the solution space, and we are just giving each group a different objective function. But all these what we have discussed, they are not an ideal multi-objective procedure, because the ideal multi-objective procedure should give a solution. So you not give a single solution, it should give a Pareto front. The Pareto front is a thing which have many solution lies in this Pareto front, which gives the knowledge about the two objective functions. So all these graphs, for our understanding, we are showing it only for two objective functions. So for our understanding, if the objective functions go beyond 2, it is very hard for us to diagrammatically represent things. So we restrict our discussion for two objective functions. So if you have two objective functions, the multi-objective optimization should found all the solution in the Pareto front. So each and every solution will be different. So based on the higher level information, the final solution should be taken. So if I am having some cost and emission, if I choose this point, what is the meaning? So this point means this point gives one particular generation value. First generation should generate this value, second should generate this value, third should generate this value, like that. For each every point, the generation scheduling is going to differ. So at last, what schedule I have to choose? If I choose this, what is the thing is, I want to minimize only the cost. I am not at all caring about the emission. So I am give my full priority to cost. If I use this solution for operation, then I am focusing only on emission, because the cost is going very high. So according to the higher level information, we can choose any point after the complete solution of multi-objective algorithm. So multi-objective algorithm is going to give different non-dominating solution. So what is non-dominating solution? If I'm having two objective functions, then if one objective function is good and another objective function is bad with respect to another solution, then they are called as non-dominating front. So this can be understood. If I just discuss for one thing, if you compare 1 and 3, so the first objective function is a maximize objective function. So 3 is better than 1. The second objective function is a minimizing function. In that case also 3 is better than 1. So 3 is a dominating solution over 1. We can omit 1 because 3 in both the objective aspects is good. So 3 is dominant over 1. But if you compare 3 and 5, what happens? 3 is good in F2, but it is not good in F1. 5 is compared to 3. 5 is good in F1, but it's not good in F2. So both are compromising in each objective function. So they are treated as non-dominating solutions. So our aim in the multi-objective algorithms is to determine these non-dominating front, and after the due time, after some iterations, we will be determining this particular front. So this is an example for the multi-objective. So initial solutions will be like this, and after the particular iterations, all the solutions will form a Pareto front. We are having many different algorithms with slight changes for multi-objective approaches. And I think due to this shortage of time, the next sessions need to be started at 11 o'clock. Each and every multi-objective algorithm have its own advantages and disadvantages and a big procedure. You can go through different types in the researches that we are using. So let me show the particular algorithm which is used by major researchers and discovered by Kalyanmai Deb of IIT, and it is being still used for many problems, optimization, power system optimization problems. Here, the parents' population and the child's population are mixed to form a total population, and they form a non-dominated sorting and given ranking. So F1 is a front where the solutions are here, and F2 is the front, another it's a nearby front. F3 is a nearby front. So each front there will be some solution. These solutions are grouped and it is grouped under ranking. So this is called ranking. The first lower front is a very good front. So that is given priority to go to the next thing. And if you have any doubts, you can post it in a chat, or we can also discuss in offline mode. And after for the next generation, what they'll be using is they'll be sending the best ranked population to the next solution. And if we want to cut a population like this, we want some population to be selected, but we cannot accommodate the complete ranking population to the new group, means we'll be using a concept called crowding distance. So if I am having many points nearer to each other, you can take only one point from that group as a representative solution. We need not have all the points here. So this particular concept is taken for crowding distance. So similarly, we are having too many small concepts in this multi-objectives, such as elitism controlling and how to maintain the diversity. So all these things are very interesting. And if you are interested in doing research based on multi-objective, you can give your own innovation in each and every step, so that you can build a good paper. You can even build a new algorithms. And at this time, we can stop this technical thing before moving to the next part. And if for solving this problem, most of us may receive such a problems using WhatsApp and other things. Here, what I want to discuss is the answer for this solution is 87, and you can reach the solution if you inverted this puzzle. So if you invert this puzzle and see, you can see the number 86, 88, and the car is parked at 87. So whatever, if you are doing any power system problems, or you are doing research, you need some lateral thinking to solve the problem. So here I show a simple case study that I have done in my research work. So here for designing a single phase active filter in a power system single phase line, what is the problem we obtained is we have a distorted power supply, we have a distorted load. It's a new scenario which is not dealt in any book. So here what is the problem we occurred is if you I try to reduce the harmonics, the power factor becomes worst. If I want to improve the power factor, the harmonics become worst. So for that, we formulated an objective problem with the two objectives THD, minimizing the THD and minimizing the apparent power. And then after solving the problem, I'll be getting this Pareto front because my two objectives are minimum. And if I interpret that Pareto front as a data, what is the information is, if I don't allow any harmonic distortions, 0% distortion, then I can have a power factor of 0.97. If I allow the THD for 10%, then the power factor is very much improved, nearly up to 1. So what is the case is I am in need of taking a decision to operate in which point I need to operate. So I'll be taking some suitable point where I can optimize both THD and power factor. So our algorithm is going to find out all the possible points. From those points, you can take the appropriate solution. And if you see the multi-objective applications in power system, there are many areas are open in the operations, monitoring of power system operations, controlling the power system operations, and even the expansion planning of each and every power system operations. And the coming technologies like battery technologies, electric vehicle planning, charging stations. So according to your own interest of research, if you go through the IEEE and elsewhere papers, you can find out large applications of this multi-objective algorithms in the power systems. And I have referred the Kalyan My Deb book and some of my work for this particular presentation. And based on the participants' question, I can explain more on this. And I opened the entire thing to the participants or their questions.
Participants, any questions, you can post it or raise your hand, we will unmute you.
Ma'am, there are few questions posted already to me. Shall I ask
okay.
you one, ma'am? Yeah, 1 second.
May I able to read it, sir?
Yes, madam. The first question is how to implement GA and PSO to power system. Please provide explanation with.
Okay, if you are having a single objective problem, for example, I am repeatedly using the same example because it is easily understandable. Economic dispatch. So if you have economic dispatch, so I am having some minimization cost. So if I am having 3 thermal generators, each thermal generator's cost will be I am having. So G1 cost, G2 cost, G3 cost. So all the cost will be in a mathematical expressions. And I know so this should be incorporated in an objective function. So all these costs are summed up in the objective functions, and I am writing the constraints that this summation of all these generations should be equal to the load. So here I have not considered the losses. So if this is the case, what I'll be doing is I'll be using genetic algorithm, means I'll be generating many initial solution. For G2 I'm having 3 generators, and these 3 generators will be having a boundary condition such as G1 can generate only up to 100 megawatt. G2 has a capacity of up to only 250 megawatts. So they have their condition. Based on the condition, I'll be having, if the load is 500 megawatts, what I'll be doing is I'll be putting some G1 as 100 and G2 as some 200. So the remaining part, the 300, my load is 500. So the remaining 200 should be met by this generator 3. So with such a policy, I am created different solutions. So this is solution number 1. Similarly, I am developing 50 different solutions. For each solution, I'll be taking the solution and substitute in the objective function. So I'll be calculating the cost for each and every solution. So I am calculating the cost, that is the evaluation. So for 50 solutions, I'm having 50 decision variables for generators and 50 different costs. So this is the first generation. How I am going to move on the second generation is, in the solutions, which solution will be having lower cost will be the best solution in this iteration. So based on the best solution, we'll be having the process called selection in the genetic algorithm. So the former method we use is roulette wheel, and the famous method is tournament selection. Tournament selection means randomly in this 50 decision variables, we'll be taking any two, and tournament is like competing. So these two solutions will compete, and which solution will be having the lower cost will be coming to the matching pool. So similarly, tournament, as we are doing in boxing, two people will boxing and one people will get a victory. Similarly, some parent will be coming over here, and whoever is the best parent is who is having lower cost, will be a winner and coming to the matching pool. Similarly, winning two parents will be coming to the matching pool, and here crossover takes place. Crossover means some features of P1 and P2 are interchanged, and new child 1 and child 2 is created. So from two parents, two child is created, and this creation of child is also controlled by crossover probability. So similarly, what we are doing is, we are creating 50 children at the end of the iteration. So now what we can do is, we cannot assure that all the children are good than parents. So the best parent will from the previous iterations will be maintained as such, and all the newly created child will be moving to the next iteration. Similarly, new child is created in each iteration, and according to the convergence, what you will observing while doing this particular objective function is, after the end of some 100th or 150th iteration, all the 50 solution will give a single value. If 100, 200, 200 is the best value, then all the 50 solution will end up with the same value. So this is how the algorithm, the simple genetic algorithm works. The thing, whatever I discussed for genetic algorithm is applicable for any other algorithms also. So may I take any other next question?
Yes, madam, we have a question. Nice explanation. I'll go to the next question. What if the value of emission is in the order of 10,000s and cost in hundreds? How do we formulate the objective function?
It's a very important thing. Here comes the thing called normalization. So normalization is a very important thing to be done while dealing with more than two objective functions. So normalization is a very, for our understanding, we can say it's a very, very simple process that you can have a similar to power system analysis per unit calculation. What we are doing, we are having the things in different values, different resistance, current, voltage, everything is different order. But what we are doing, we are converting it into a per unit, so that we are having the analysis in a simplified way. Similar terminology should be used while we are mixing more than one objective. So normalization is very, very similar to per unit, and we are having some simple equations, expressions that we can use to normalize our objective function, right? So any other questions, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. The next question is how to use GA in fax device of power system in power flow, or how to write the objective function is the next question.
If you consider fax devices, there are many papers available. If you are want to incorporate fax device, you just first fix the fax device, whether we are using TSC or thyristor control series reactor or shunt reactor. So you fix the device. On fixing the device, what is the change that will be incorporated in the load flow equations? So you just write the equation and first fix the objective. So for which objective you are working for? You are working for minimizing the losses, or you are minimizing the flow of reactive power. So whatever objective you are concentrating, you try to develop the expression for that objective in terms of the decision variable. So the decision variable in the fax devices is how to operate the fax device. The main thing we need to know is, for any problem, what is the decision variable? So decision variable is under our control. We can change it. Based on the change in the decision variable, the entire thing in the system will going to vary. That is, if I change the generator protection, automatically cost is going to change. So which variable is that independent is? It is a design variable. So you need to understand what is the design variables for the fact devices you are using. So you have to vary and you have to find out the expression which involves that design parameters contributing to the objective function. So any next question, sir? Sir, any other questions?
Yes, ma'am. Another one question is posted by a participant. Once again, I have gone through lots and lots of papers about AI in power systems. Do you have any real-time world example where you have seen some implications and implementations? Please share. Thank you.
If you want to actual working, all these optimization algorithms applications come in the offline activities because these are iteration procedures. So if you see any AI technique, if you take a neural network, artificial neural network, and other machine learning algorithms, they are online algorithms which will give an immediate solution. But for optimization, we are using this optimization mostly for planning and this type of first time determination installations, and it also takes too much of time. They are using these algorithms to fix the offline activities. So generation scheduling, it is not going to vary we cannot run optimization algorithms each and every time for a instant by instant operation of power system. Besides, these algorithms are used to fix the tentative schedule to follow to optimize the cost. So this is being used in real time, but it is not used as an online activity, any optimization algorithm, because it takes time, obviously.
Another question, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, can you tell which software is best for optimization techniques? What about JAM software?
JAM, I have not come through JAM software. Um, Most of the work that we have done is on MATLAB. So at MATLAB is a paid software. We are now moving to Scilab like packages. And if you are having a MATLAB package, it is come with the optimization toolboxes also. And now there are many open source packages which coded on Pythons also, Python coding. Um, but for this optimization algorithm, as per my knowledge, I have used most of my problems. I dealt with only MATLAB, and now we are moving to the trend of machine learning. So we are in the technical change to Python, and we are just starting exploring the softwares available for machine learning. But optimization, I have used only MATLAB.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. The same person has asked this. In economic dispatch, do Indian electrical utilities use any of such optimization algorithms to actually dispatch their generators?
Actually, it seems
Hypothetical.
something will be considered.
Hypothetical.
Yes, we can pause this question as well.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Next question is, can you show some insights on optimization of power system cyber security?
Actually, in cyber security, what is the major focus is on artificial intelligence, and they are using many machine learning algorithms like spike neural networks and analysis. They are going into the depth of machine learning analysis like regression analysis and SVM analysis. In that analysis, if there is behind a parameter changing or structural learning, they are using optimization as a background process for fixing the parameters or structure of the machine learning thing. That is, if you are having a simple neural network, you need to decide how many, according to the problem, we know how many number of input neurons and how many number of output neurons. But we cannot decide how many hidden layers should we have to adapt and what should be the number of neurons in the hidden layers. So to optimize such a thing, which is not explicitly known, we can go for the optimization algorithms there.
Thank
Right,
you.
sir?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Another participant has asked this. Is it any particular standard is there for selection of variable and writing objective function?
Uh, the selection of variable and writing objective function purely depends upon the system or a problem that we are working. And before formulating any problem, you should be very clear with the statement of the problem. Right? I recommend those who are beginning to write this particular adjective function and constraint, I recommend you all to go through the first chapter in any operation research book. In any operation research book, what will be the first chapter deals is, it deals with the statement of problems, and it gives the idea how to convert that English statements to a mathematical expression. If you go through that particular thing and then you go on the analysis for your problem, you find easier how to develop the mathematical modeling for your particular problem.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Gaurav. I think the questions are over. If someone is ready to ask the question live, then they can raise their hands. We can allow them to ask the question there.
Right, I think about the session, I worried about the session timing, sir.
Yes, ma'am, it is over. If one or two can ask, then it is over.
Okay,
Yes,
sir,
then it's fine for us. No problem, ma'am. The participants are very calm and patient. They can wait till 12:10 also. They're ready to wait. Is there any participants who can ask the question directly? You can raise your hands now. I think no, ma'am.
Okay, right,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Right.
Mr. Hari,
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Yeah.
you, madam.
Thank you, Kavita, ma'am.
I once